So once there's a distance between you and your mind's activity,
Yes, sir.
mind is not a problem. Mind is a miracle, it is not a problem. And anyway, if thoughts are going continuously, if you're having a mental diarrhea, obviously you ate some bad food, isn't it? Yes. If you're having a physical diarrhea, you ate some bad food, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're having a mental diarrhea, you are obviously consumed something wrong. What this wrong thing could be is, the moment you identify yourself with something that you're not, then you're finished. Your mind is a continuous runs. There is no other way.
Right.
Do what you want, try as hard as you want, it is not going to stop. If you do not identify yourself with anything that you are not, you know how to be with everything, you know how to use everything, but you're not identified with it,
Right.
then you will see if you sit here, simply mind will be like this. You want to use it, you can use it, otherwise it'll be like this. Right now your hands are like this, or you're holding it tied up because it'll go all over, is it? No. You can keep it like this. You can keep it like this, you can keep it like this. When you want to use it, you can use it.
Right.
So it's a useful instrument. Suppose your hands become like this. You know, some people have become like this. Yes or no? If it becomes like this, you will become ridiculous, isn't it? If it happens to your mind, also you're equally ridiculous. It is just that you are living in the comfort that nobody else can see it. But people can see it. They watch you closely enough, they can see it, isn't it? And whether they can see it or not, that's not the point. The point is, the most important faculty of your life is out of control. Doesn't matter whether they can see it or not, that's not the issue. The issue is, the most important faculty in your life is out of control, doing its own rubbish all the time, not doing what you want it to do. So, if you have to be freed from this ailment, you should stop eating bad food. Wrong food or bad food means you're identifying yourself with things that you're not.
Yeah.
If you sit here, if you're not identified with this and with this, then you will see everything is just fine. Then your mind will do what you want it to do. Otherwise, it'll simply hang there, and that's how it should be. Mind should not be telling its own stories all the time. It should tell the story that you want it to tell, isn't it? Otherwise, it's quite a nuisance.
Saw the guru done put that info on us. Hold on, y'all. Y'all know me, I'm in the game right now. Try not to make myself look bad. Oh, I should have made that one. Hey, 6 habits, psych to go.
I have dealt with mental and emotional struggles
for.
for a very long time. I was also dealing with the fear of embracing.
Have you ever wanted to increase your own level of happiness? Or maybe you'd like to do something in particular to help raise your joy and well-being? Or maybe you've always wanted to experience an Ivy League education without the commitment. Yale University is offering an online course called The Science of Well-Being, where Dr. Santos reveals what actually makes us happy and recommends tips and exercises for increasing happiness in our lives, such as savoring our everyday experiences and appreciating them while they happen. Did we also mention that over 3 million people have enrolled, and it's the online equivalent? Make sure you click the description box below to check the course out. Hey Psych2Goers, welcome back to our channel. Have you ever wondered if there are some habits you could adopt to make your life a little bit happier? According to psychologists and research studies, there are some interesting habits that may just leave you feeling a bit more cheerful. Here are 6 helpful habits that will make your life happier. Number 1, read stories of wonder. Do you love to snuggle up with a good book and a cup of cocoa? While chocolate tends to make a lot of people happy, that story of wonderment you're reading may just make you happier. According to a 2012 research study published in the journal Psychological Science, awe can be elicited from reading a story, even a short one. Researchers Melanie Rudd, Kathleen D. Voss, and Jennifer Aker explain in their research article that awe offset the feeling that time is limited. And this increase in perceived time availability, Voss and Jennifer Aker explain in their research article that awe offset the feeling that time is limited. And this increase in perceived time availability heightened willingness to volunteer time. And it accentuated preferences for experiential goods and lifted satisfaction with life. They further explained that their studies also demonstrated that awe can be elicited by reliving a memory, reading a brief story, or even watching a 60-second commercial. So, that inspiring book you're reading, or that adventurous play that has you hooked? Keep reading. Your life may just be a bit happier with an awe-inspiring book, and it keeps you present and in the moment. As the study states, experiences of awe bring people into the present moment, and being in the present moment underlies awe's capacity to adjust time perception, influence decisions, and make life feel more satisfying than it would otherwise. Sounds good to me. Number 2, drink a healthy amount of coffee. Who doesn't love a good old cup of joe? I know I do. Many studies have found a link between how much coffee you drink and a lowered risk of depression and suicide.
Really?
In a large 2011 longitudinal study, researchers found that depression risk decreases with increasing caffeinated coffee consumption. They mentioned further research is needed to confirm their findings, but a good cup of coffee every now and then won't hurt your mood and alertness. Just make sure not to go overboard.
I'm gonna take a
Too
shot
much
of coffee.
Can be dangerous, folks. But just the right amount? Delicious. Gotta love those mochas. Number 3, don't focus on materialistic goods. In her book, Myth of Happiness, author Sonia Lubomirsky explains that a mountain of research has shown that materialism depletes happiness, threatens satisfaction with our relationships, harms the environment, renders us less friendly, likable, and empathetic, and makes us less likely to help others and contribute to our communities. While a new pair of shoes here and there won't hurt you too much, if obtaining these types of possessions are all that's on your mind, it could cost you a bit of overall happiness. It's best not to put the weight of our happiness only on obtaining these luxury goods. Make it a habit to instead look towards your values, socialization, self-fulfilling goals, and experiences as another way to get that euphoric feeling. Basically, do what makes you happy. The things without that expensive price tag attached to it. Number 4, make it a habit to be around happy people. A 2008 study from the researchers and professors James H. Fowler and Nicholas A. Christakis found that if you simply live within a mile of another happy person, your happiness could increase by 25%. The researchers wanted to discover if happiness can spread from each individual and whether niches of happiness form within social networks. According to the study, people who are surrounded by many happy people and those who are central in the network are more likely to become happy in the future. Longitudinal statistical models suggest that clusters of happiness result from the spread of happiness and not just a tendency for people to associate with similar individuals. A friend who lives within a mile, which is about 1.6 kilometers, and who becomes happy increases the probability that a person is happy by 25%. Although these effects weren't seen in coworkers, the authors also mentioned that similar results were seen with happy spouses and neighbors who are within the mile. Time to thank your friendly neighbor for lending you that cup of flour, and thank them for a bit of happiness. Number 5, join clubs and participate in cultural activities. Thinking of joining a club or snagging those tickets to your favorite concert? One research study found that those participating in more cultural activities in clubs reported decreased levels of anxiety, depression, and an increase in one's general satisfaction with life. The 2011 study examined data on cultural activities, perceived health, and overall satisfaction with life on over 50,000 adult participants from Norway. According to their research, their results support hypotheses on the effect of cultural activities in health promotion and healthcare. Time to join the art club. Number 6, keep a journal of your feelings. It has long been believed that journaling can have a positive effect on one's mental health. Writing down your feelings each day is a great habit to adopt. According to University of Wisconsin-Madison,
another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F. Man. Sorry, y'all, I'm in the middle of a game right now. Intense game, intense battle. Not even gonna lie. We are now starting another week, Mindful Mondays. I don't know if, hold on. I gotta miss all this. I'm gonna send y'all back to hold on.
Really does seem to help. Do you
Being
journal
in
before
awe.
bed? Which book will you be reading? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to click the like button and share this video with
Yeah,
a
I'm
friend.
definitely putting this one on the rotation. Yeah, being in awe can slow down time. How to slow perception of time. Let me see. Let's see.
Hey smart people, Joe here. Every 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds, our planet makes one rotation on its axis. Time is always passing for all of us, all the time, at a constant rate of 1 second per second in this constantly evolving instant that we call now, between a past that we can remember and a future that we cannot. But if time is this unchanging thing flowing constantly in one direction, then why does it feel like it's happening so slow sometimes? Like, come on already. And other times, whoosh, time passes right out of our grasp so fast. I mean, what's going on here? How can the same sum total of solar orbits and lunar phases, terrestrial rotations, or transitions of a cesium-133 atom be so constant, yet feel so different in our minds? I mean, these days, people are just having a hard time remembering what day it is.
If you're not at work today or you're working from home, you may be wondering, what day is it?
It's Monday.
Yes, sir.
What is it about COVID-19 that makes March feel like it was approximately 4.7 years ago?
What makes time feel fast?
And slow.
This is a stopwatch, and when you hear the bell, it's going to start. I want you to close your eyes,
Okay.
count off 7 seconds in your head now. Open your eyes. How close were
I
you?
was right on.
Some of you probably cheated and didn't do it, but those of you who did, you probably weren't that far off.
Right.
Which is amazing. Unlike touch, taste, or smell, our bodies don't have a sensory organ for time.
Right.
We do have an internal biological clock, but your body's timekeeping is tuned to circadian rhythms, the broad patterns of day and night. And like other animals, we also rely on astronomical cues and biological hormones to notice the passage of months, seasons, even years. But you have no internal timekeeping device that can accurately sense the passage of seconds, minutes, or hours.
I need to turn
Which still
mine
doesn't
on.
explain the constant, ever-present ticking sound, which I'm sure is a totally normal thing, right? Well, although there is no actual clock inside your brain, we now know that how we perceive the passage of time can be stretched or slowed. And scientists once tested this by dropping people off a 15-story building. Let me explain. Have you ever heard someone say that a car accident or some other life or death situation felt like it happened in slow motion? It makes you wonder if our brains are able to suddenly reach in and stretch out a second to give us conscious access to smaller windows or slices of time, like milliseconds, when we're super freaked out. Experiencing bullet time, like in The Matrix, when we're scared, might let us react better or escape to safety. So to test this, scientists dropped people from 150 feet up. They had harnesses and a safety net. Doesn't feel very realistic to me, but you gotta be safe, I guess. During the free fall, each person was asked to look at a display with flashing numbers. Only these numbers were flashing by too quickly to be read under normal circumstances. If a state of fright actually altered their time perception, they should be able to read the numbers while falling. So what happened when they were dropped? Well, no one could read the numbers. In scary times, our brains do not stretch time itself and allow us to perceive smaller moments. But still, the study subjects reported that their own fall lasted longer than when they simply observed someone else falling. Their memory of the fall was slowed down. So why does this happen? Well, one theory suggests it has something to do with a specific region of the brain. During stressful or negative situations, this region kicks into high gear, causing more of the brain's resources to be directed at making memories of that moment.
Logistics provider who can deliver critical data and donuts.
Start winning the war within. Start winning the war within. We have two lives. We have the life that we live, and we have the unlived life within us that we are called to. The unlived life within us is a sad, sad story, because I wonder how many dreams, I wonder how many hopes, how much faith is just buried somewhere in cemeteries. Just the potential, the purpose. People that let all that stuff go, that never lived that unlived life within them.
I don't want to die thinking, what if? What if I'd done that? What if I'd made that choice? I saw that. Why did I draw back? Wonder what would have happened. I couldn't stand living like that. That would be more torture to me than failure. And you know, it says he'll wipe away all the tears in heaven. I've often thought maybe that's why there are going to be tears in heaven when you see what could have been, what should have been, instead of what was, because you didn't try. What if you failed? Try. Don't fail to try. Try.
Some of the greatest resistance you will ever face in your life comes from within you. It comes from within me. Some of it has to do with things that you believe. There are some things here today when you're talking about winning the year or learning how to win the day. There are things that prevent you from winning the day that have everything to do, not with the external pressure that comes from the outside world, but from the internal belief systems that you have about your life and that you have about God. And until we address these things and realize that much of the resistance comes from within.
And in your life, you may face, let's say, for example, a financial battle, which is external. But the bigger battle is, will you trust God in your heart? You might have a relationship battle on the outside, but the matter that's most important is the internal battle inside you. Do you know that you face that internal battle every single day of your life?
And the first problem that we have to face is that those who are overcomers, they don't live from the outside in, they live from the inside out. This is what the Bible says: greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. The problem is not what we were created for. The problem is how we're living. When you live from the outside in, you'll always come up with a long list of reasons why you can't overcome. So when it comes to being an overcomer, the thing that you have to understand more than anything is the main priority is for you to not overcome the challenge on the outside, but for you to overcome the challenge on the inside, meaning that the thing you have to overcome is yourself. This world wants to overwhelm you, and it wants you to be a victim. But when you read the Word of God, it says, don't let the outside affect the inside. Let the man on the inside overcome all of the things in this world. Greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. 1 John 5:4 says, whatever is born of God, it overcomes the world. And this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith. My faith in a God who cannot fail has given me victory over the world, over the flesh, and over the devil.
You want to win the day? You got to get up and have the kind of faith that the Bible says can move mountains. That means some big dreams. You don't play it safe in faith. There's no such thing. You put your hope out there in what God says. You trust it, you believe it, you speak it, you live for it, and you go for it. And it's not easy, but it works. When's the last time you did something so risky that your hands started shaking? That's the kind of faith we're called to. We're called to live that way, in faith and by faith in everything we do.
But listen, faith grows in difficulty. One of the biggest things you gotta remember today is that you gotta keep going. You gotta walk by faith, and faith doesn't grow in comfort. You and I, we wait for everything to feel right to take a step, and that's why we're stuck. You gotta get moving. You gotta start walking by faith, whether you feel like it or not, because faith is not a feeling. Faith is a decision to put one foot in front of the other.
It's time for you to stop making all these plans about what life is gonna look like down the road. It's time for you to start winning now. Come on, it's an all-in call to be a kingdom person. You wanna win the day? Learn how to go all in with your faith right now and stop procrastinating. Stop waiting. You're a leader right now. God has called you to be a leader, to be developed and to be a leader. Right now, you can serve right now. You can use your gifts right now, your talents right now. That doesn't mean we stop developing ourselves. It means that we don't let our lack of development stop us from using what we have been given for the glory of God's kingdom.
Just because you're scared doesn't mean it's over. You can act in faith in the middle of fear. Sometimes we wait for everything to be perfect to do something, like God only works in the serene. Now listen, I want you to understand, I think we ought to pray a lot, reserve a lot of time for prayer, much prayer, but sometimes you just gotta act. And maybe that's you, always reluctant actually to do anything, but you're always praying about it. It's like God saying, hey, listen, come here. You already know what to do. So now do what you need to do.
I felt that one.
Listen to that. Some of you need to hear that. You know what you need to know. Now do what you need to do. Some of us are stuck and we know exactly what we need to do to get moving again, but we're just scared. If you know what you need to know, then do what you need to do. And you know what? It all starts with a step. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it's true. You get unstuck by taking a step. That's how it all starts. You take a small step, pray about every step, obey God in every step. Do it again, you got 2 steps. Easy. Do it again, you got 4 steps. If you mess up in that step, it's okay, because God likes grace. God grows faith in the soil of difficulty and pain.
What do you see when you look at a mighty oak tree? It began out as a tiny seed in the soil that had to struggle and push its way up through the rock to the sunshine. It fights its way up to air only to wrestle with storms. Then comes frost, then comes snow before it can become a mighty oak. It doesn't happen overnight. It accomplished over the adversity, because adversity leads to achievement. Adversity leads to achievement. God uses no one who does not graduate from his university of adversity.
Remember this: winners find solutions, losers find excuses. These excuses keep us from winning. No more excuses, only solutions. Come on, give your best.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Give your best. That means living with a bold, audacious faith, where it doesn't matter what's pushing back against me. I have faith in my God that he is going to take me through and bring me out the other side and give me the victory.
That whatever it is, you are going to make it through. And in every situation with God, the story isn't finished until God says it's finished. And there's always hope. Put your hope in God. If your hope is in God, it doesn't matter what you're up against. The story's not over until God says it's over.
And let me even lean in to those of you who think your life is on plan B, or your life is on plan D, or your life is on plan Z at this point. And you think, I really messed up what God had for me. God had an opportunity, I didn't take advantage of it. God put this in front of me, I sinned and messed up. This thing that was unexpected happened, just took it all away. You are not on God's plan B. God foreknew the situation you are gonna be in today. And he has arranged the universe, and he has sent his son so that he can give you what you need in this moment, whether that is comfort for your pain, direction for your confusion, encouragement for your soul. God has you. You are still part of his plan A.
You were not born to lose. God did not breathe the breath of life in you so that you could be overwhelmed and walked upon in this world. He gave you the life that you have so that you could live victoriously. He is a mighty God. He's a God who conquers. He conquered death, hell, and the grave when Jesus rose on the third day. That God is the God who created you, and he ordained you to be the light of the world in a time of darkness, that you would live a life where you are overcoming and not being overwhelmed.
Don't allow someone else's image of you, or even your own image of you, to put you in a box to not see who you can be someday. People don't know the God potential that's within you. In life, there will always be people who don't support you. Just don't be one of them.
Life is hard, but you are tougher than you think. You are more capable than you can imagine. You are more capable than you know. You can take on more than you ever imagined. And you need to hear this statement. If God is for you, who can be against you? What he is saying is, you don't need everybody else to be for you when God is for you. And then you need to add to that reality, you have to be for yourself. Because even when God's for you, if you are against you, you're going to be warring against what God's trying to do in your life. There are not enough people that can tell you how good you are, that will make you feel worthy, if you don't even accept your own worth. And get up in the morning and wake up and tell yourself, I don't have to search for self-worth. I already have worth from God. I'm going to live my life from worth, not trying to achieve it. Some of you are still trying to prove to your dad you're good enough.
Yes, sir.
Some of you are trying to prove to your mom she was wrong. Some of you are still trying to prove to somebody in your past you're not what they thought you were, and you're not even living for your own intention or purpose. So you're still trying to earn their validation.
All right.
So stop trying to earn anybody's validation. I'm in the family of God. I'm a child of God.
You need to understand that you and God can accomplish anything. You're on your way to victory.
Yes, sir. Welcome to Expansion Pack. Like I was saying earlier, he blocked
The
that.
CVS Epic Beauty
Shut
Sale.
up. Y'all hear me talking. Anyway, welcome to Expansion Pack. Like I was saying earlier, we are adjusting. Oh, he blocked that too. He ain't that good. It's just the fact that I'm hosting my show. So we adjusting today. We adjusting our schedule, and we adjusting our lives. Well, adjusting. Give me that back. Adjusting our lives. Maybe I should let y'all see this. Let me see. Before y'all think I'm just crazy. All right. Hopefully I hit that. Nope, I didn't. All right. So we adjusting everything. We going back to an hour now. We've been doing 2 hours since the show began. I believe that's a lot of content for y'all to ingest all in one day, and that's good and healthy that we started off that way. But we're going to take it down to an hour. It's going to be more concentrated so that you can get, he dunked on me. So you can get more out of it. You know, I think it's a worthy adjustment for the material that we've taken in. So that's the major adjustment for today. Hopefully I win this game as we talking about this, because I'm cutting into y'all hour of good expanding. So let's get started. Unless y'all want to see the game. It's only going to 11, so I'll let y'all see the game. All right, let's go. Oh, got him. Let's go. Tie game. Let's see who wins. I run this. Let's go. Oh, got him. You got to play better D than that. He got me. Ah. Let's go. We're going to win. Y'all get to see what I be doing behind the scenes on Expansion Pack right now. When I say be playing the game, that's what I be mean. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Oh, I got you. Let's go. Game time. Y'all saw it here first on Expansion Pack. Episode whatever, 106. Got me a little dub. All right. Let's go. I won that game, by the way. How to adjust your schedule. Let's see.
All right, so how to actually do what you plan to do. It might sound kind of silly, like, Maz, you just plan what to do and then you do it. Well, as you probably know, it's not that simple. Whether it's Sunday night or the night before, I'd make this whole elaborate plan in my fancy to-do list app, decide, okay, I'm doing this Monday, this Tuesday, this Wednesday, this at 9 a.m., this at 10 a.m., at 10:30, I'm gonna take a break, at 11, I'm gonna do this. But when the next day came around and it became time to actually act on my plan, I simply wouldn't do it. Sometimes things would come up, sometimes I'd run out of time, and that's like, okay, whatever, that happens. But more often than not, the truth is I would just sort of directly disobey my plan and end up picking something kind of random to do that maybe needed to be done at some point. So by doing it, I felt like I was still being productive, but in reality, it wasn't actually urgent or didn't really move the needle forward. So in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 levels of things that I've started doing to ensure that I actually stick to my plan and get things done that actually matter. So at the first level, we're starting pretty basic with time blocking, and you've probably heard of this productivity technique before. It's basically where you use a calendar and create different blocks for the different activities that you need to do on a particular day. So for example, what this might look like is you'll have a block in the morning for waking up and doing your morning routine, then maybe doing some deep work, working on a new YouTube video. And you might have a block for going to the gym, making breakfast, or doing whatever you need to do. And you kind of fill up your calendar with all these blocks. And so basically throughout the entire day, you're supposed to just kind of stick to each of these blocks on your calendar and only work on the things that you've assigned or planned out to do during that time. And this is a pretty good technique on its own and probably works really well for more disciplined people, and it's something that I've been doing for a long time. But lately I feel like for me it just hasn't really been working too well because I think I just don't really follow my calendar throughout the day. And I think part of this might be because I don't have my calendar app, up on screen in my face throughout the entire day. So as I'm doing stuff, I just easily kind of get sidetracked or go too long and just end up kind of ignoring the time blocks. Even when like a calendar notification pops up, like, okay, it's time to go to the gym, it's easy to kind of ignore it and just keep doing what you're doing or not doing a certain thing. But if you haven't tried time blocking, this might be all you really need. And so I would definitely give this a try first and see how it goes for you. All right, so level 2 takes things a step further. And this is something that I've started doing recently that I think really has helped and is straying a little bit away from the digital productivity system side of things. Basically what I'll do is at the start of the week, maybe Sunday night, I'll get a piece of paper and list out all the major tasks that I want to accomplish for that week. So I'm looking at just my paper for this past week, and I had things like film these YouTube videos, edit a video, plan out some more videos, make thumbnails. I also put my major workouts on here. I wanted to hit a leg day, push day, some cardio, pull day, leg day, push day, and then also some Japanese study lessons and stuff, and a couple more random errands that I wanted to get done this week. But I put all of it just on this one piece of paper. And so this really helped me out because at the start of the week when I'm in a clear sort of headspace, I would would sort of set in stone all of the things that I was going to do for that week, because I was sort of guilty of, you know, as the week goes on, maybe in the moment, I'll just kind of change my mindset and change the things that I want to prioritize for that week. And I think a lot of that was just because in the moment I didn't really feel like doing something, so my brain created some sort of excuse for why I didn't actually need to prioritize a certain thing. And so I like this because, as I said, it really sets it in stone, and I can't, you know, drag things around on my calendar. I can't move it quickly to next week on my to-do list. I wrote it out when I was in a sane, productive mental state, so now I have to stick to it. The next, I would take that paper and tape it up on the side of the monitor. That way, anytime I sit down at my desk, it's always, you know, in my face, glaring at me, and all those tasks are just always on my mind. So what I like about this system in conjunction with the time blocking is that it allows for some flexibility, but then also is still strict in the sense that I can't change anything on this master list, but I'm also not necessarily tied to the time that I have to do these things. It's all just, you know, this week I need to get all this stuff done. Now you could also take it a step further and make an individual list for each day, where maybe you take a couple things from your master weekly list and put that on a little sticky note or something, and then put that on your monitor. That's another thing that I might start trying to do as well for the particular day. But I think you should at least have the weekly plan, so that way you don't adjust course prematurely throughout the week just because you don't really feel like doing something in the moment. All right, and finally we've got level 3, and this is for all you people like me who have difficulty just following any sort of schedule and always.
So that one right there is my most effective. When I see that alarm come across, it's like, oh man, I gotta go do this. And it's usually like a day before, 2 days before, then 30 minutes before, and stuff like that. So yeah.
Up just letting the previous task or event carry on too long and don't start the next thing that they're supposed to do on time. And this is to set obnoxious alarms on your phone for sort of key checkpoints or must-do tasks throughout the day. And so, like I said, the sort of soft calendar notification on my laptop or my phone doesn't really do it for me, just like the ding, because it's just so easy to swipe away. But when I have this obnoxious iPhone alarm and vibrating, it kind of just like wakes me up just like a morning alarm would, and actually gets me out of my chair or gets me to stop doing what I'm doing and start doing whatever it is I need to do at that time. So I've got a few recurring alarms set. First one, of course, obviously I've got a wake up alarm at around 6 a.m. And then I've got another one around 9 to get up and make some breakfast so that I get some nutrition in and don't just like keep working all morning while starving myself. Then I've got another alarm at 12 to go to the gym, because I think that's another sort of midday key checkpoint for me, where if I don't end up taking that exercise break in the middle of the day, then my afternoon will feel kind of sluggish and I won't be able to focus as well and won't have as good energy. And of course, I want to keep up my fitness routine as well. And I also have another alarm set for later in the day, right before dinner, to do my shutdown ritual, where I basically clean up my workspace and get my plan and everything set for the next day. And then finally, I have a bedtime alarm later in the evening around 8:45 or 9, telling me to get in bed, start winding down, and go to sleep. So those are the recurring alarms. But then depending on the tasks that I'll have to do for that day, and this is basically where I kind of work with the time blocking system on level 1, is I'll do my time blocking and I'll maybe say, okay, at 7:30 I need to start filming this video. Then I'll go in my alarms and maybe set an alarm for 7:30 if I really want to make sure that I actually go and do that. So it's kind of just reinforcing the calendar notification in a more obnoxious way that actually gets me to do the thing. So if you're like me and sticking to some kind of schedule and doing your tasks on time is kind of a struggle, then I would definitely try out some of these techniques. And also let me know if there's something else you do to ensure that you not only plan out a successful day and week, but to actually act on that plan and get the things done without getting distracted by random stuff. As always, do something today that your future self would thank you for.
That's the biggest thing, is
If you
acting
had
on it. Let's see what else they got. Well, hold on, we can't do the TED.
I'm writing the script at 5:20 a.m. I naturally woke up at 5 a.m. and had slept around 10:30, so not quite the usual 8 hours of sleep. This has happened pretty often in the past few weeks, yet I still feel good throughout the day. In this video, I want to tell you guys exactly how I fixed my sleep schedule in a way I believe to be long-lasting. I also want to contest a widely established rule about sleep in the later half of the video, so be sure to stick around. Let's start with the how. Some of you who have watched my 5 a.m. video might have already guessed the how. I challenged myself to wake
Sorry, just had to make sure my sound was okay. Y'all be letting me know now. Let me know now. We can't waste no time no more. We down to an hour. Let me know now if the sound or anything like that is off.
up at 5 a.m. for 5 days in April. It's been nearly a month since then, so now I feel comfortable making a video claiming that this method can fix your sleep schedule, because it did for me. I think whatever time you're shooting for, you should make it 1 hour before that. My goal was just to get back to normal. Ever since 2017, I basically had to set my own schedule, waking up and sleeping whenever I want. I started off pretty good with what I considered to be my normal schedule of waking up in between 7 to 7:30. But it was normally a struggle each time. Over 3 years, it shifted to being 8 to 8:30, and I had a hard time pulling it back. Then the pandemic hit and it just slipped out of control. The issue with trying to slowly bring back your sleep schedule is that you're giving yourself more chances to fail. Compare that to the past month. The majority of mornings have been extremely easy to get up. I still have an alarm set for 6 a.m., sometimes later if it was a longer night. But oddly, I find myself waking up even before the times I set, and I don't even need the alarm. I've been depending on alarms ever since middle school. 5 days can change over 10 years of programming. All you have to do is give your brain a huge knock, or shock, or perhaps kick is the word I'm looking for. I seriously encourage you to try a challenge similar or exactly the same as mine if you feel like your sleep has gone out of whack. All you need to do is for 5 days, be extremely strict about when you sleep and when you wake up. That's it. That's the cost to rewire over 10 years of programming and gain access to a long-lasting fixed sleep schedule without the need for an alarm. The how is very, very simple. Now onto the controversial point. Who came up with 8 hours as the magic number that all adult human beings need to sleep for? In the past month, I've been sleeping at around 10 to 11 p.m., sometimes even past midnight, and I've been waking up at around 5 to 6 a.m. That's about 6 hours of sleep on average. Sometimes I even got 5 hours and I still function pretty much as effectively as any other day. That's lots of practicing piano, lots of video work, which includes creative work that requires a very focused brain. My exercise was perfectly good too. I think it's because I've been told for so long in my life that I need 8 hours of sleep, that something was planted in my brain, telling me that if I didn't get 8 hours of sleep, I would end up feeling tired, slow, unfocused. So what happened was I ended up feeling that way. But I think the true reason I felt very tired was because I woke up at a time I wasn't used to. My sleep schedule kept shifting to later and later, so when I had to wake up at my usual time of 7, my actual usual time was now 8 or 8:30. At 7, my brain was telling me that I should be asleep. But ever since I shocked my brain into thinking my wake up time is 5 a.m., all of a sudden I'm no longer tired, even if I get 6 hours of sleep. Take note, I also have a decent diet, as in I avoid junk food, and ever since the 3-liter water challenge, I've been drinking around 2 liters of water a day. So I'm sure that's a factor that plays into my energy levels as well. Basically, what I'm trying to say is try it for yourself. Do it for yourself. Know for yourself. And don't let anybody tell you that you absolutely need this amount of sleep.
Sir.
Not to mention, Arnold, during his prime, slept for only 6 hours a night and still did full muscle recovery, no problem. The moral of the story is to question everything, especially when people try to assign a magic number or formula that is supposed to work for everyone. The only real way to know is to find out for yourself. That's also what makes life interesting, exploration versus getting all the information fed to you. So that's my suggested method for fixing your sleep schedule in less than 1 week. But I'm sure this is just one method out of many. If you guys have past experiences in your life where you managed to fix your sleep schedule for a long period of time, comment below about it. I definitely like to know other methods to see how they compare to mine. With that, best of luck.
And I'll comment the next time. I want to see this. I gotta watch this one.
Here's a hot girl's guide to making presentations that look like you've spent all night working on them. If you're a perfectionist like me, then you know.
Here we see an early bird and a night owl in their natural habitats. The early bird rises with the sun, springing out of bed abuzz with energy. As the day goes on, they slowly get more and more exhausted, until finally crashing around sunset. Meanwhile, the night owl rises long after the sun, stumbling groggily from their bed. After about 30 minutes, or a cup of coffee, they begin to come to life. But they don't really hit their stride until later in the day, at which point they comfortably coast past sunset, only heading to bed in the early hours of the morning. For many, this is a familiar story, and one that's easy to cast yourself in. But how many people are truly night owls or early birds? And are our natural sleep schedules predetermined at birth, or can we change them? The truth is there's a lot of space between these extremes, and most people fall somewhere in the middle. These behaviors are determined by our circadian system.
And this is where I guess I wanted to go today, because I was just reading on this.
Which is anchored by a pair of nerve cell clusters located in the anterior hypothalamus. These nerve cells respond to light exposure coming in through your eyes to track the day-night cycle that dictates your body's internal clock, or circadian rhythm. That steady rhythm helps determine the body's flow of hormones, with the broader circadian system acting like a conductor that keeps your organs functioning in time with one another. And a major part of that performance is managing the body's transitions between being awake and being asleep. Now, your circadian system can't just decide it's bedtime and knock you out. However, by tracking how much light you typically get and when in your waking hours you usually get it, the system can make predictions about when you're likely to need sleep and prepare your body accordingly. For example, if you consistently go to sleep around 10 p.m., your circadian system will start producing sleep-inducing melatonin around 2 hours before then to tell your body it's time for bed. So if this rhythm is molded by our sleep habits, can we change it just by sticking to a strict schedule? To a degree. Everyone's bodies are unique, so even two people with the same sleep schedule might have different experiences based on their circadian system's hormonal quirks. For example, where early birds generally flood with cortisol just before waking up, night owls often have their cortisol peak roughly 30 minutes after getting up. Hormonal differences like these determine how you experience your circadian rhythm, and while these factors can shift with age, you're unlikely to grow out of your body's preferred sleep schedule. That said, you can cultivate habits to help or hinder your circadian rhythm. Keeping consistent sleeping hours helps your body accurately predict when to send out hormones, making it easier to stick to your schedule. Conversely, research in sleep-deprived college students has found their unpredictable sleeping habits weaken their entire circadian system. Compromised circadian rhythms are less effective at coordinating organ functioning and can incur health risks like metabolic disorders and vulnerable immune systems. But perhaps just as important as sleep hygiene is light hygiene.
I never
Getting
knew it
sufficient
existed.
contrast between bright daylight and dimmer nighttime light is essential for synchronizing your circadian rhythm. And nothing establishes this contrast better than sunlight. Even on overcast days, sunlight is much brighter than standard indoor lighting. So if you're typically awake during the day, try getting outside as soon as possible to teach your body when to be active and alert. It's difficult to maintain a sleep schedule that pushes against your body's preferences. And even if you succeed for months, it only takes one bad night to send it during the day. Try getting outside as soon as possible to teach your body when to be active and alert. It's difficult to maintain a sleep schedule that pushes against your body's preferences. And even if you succeed for months, it only takes one bad night to send your circadian system back to baseline. But whether you're an early bird, night owl, or somewhere in between, it's important to remember that as long as you're consistent, there's no wrong time to wake up or go to sleep. What matters most is getting enough rest for the day ahead.
Right.
So what happens to your brain and body when you skip sleep altogether? Find out with this video. Or watch this one.
Let's see.
Stop writing essays with ChatGPT. It sounds too AI, so you have to rewrite everything.
In 1965, 17-year-old high school student Randy Garner stayed awake for 264 hours. That's 11 days to see how he'd cope without sleep. On the second day, his eyes stopped focusing. Next, he lost the ability to identify objects by touch. By day 3, Garner was moody and uncoordinated. At the end of the experiment, he was struggling to concentrate, had trouble with short-term memory, became paranoid, and started hallucinating. Although Garner recovered without long-term psychological or physical damage, for others, losing shut-eye can result in hormonal imbalance, illness, and in extreme cases, death. We're only beginning to understand why we sleep to begin with, but we do know it's essential. Adults need 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, and adolescents need about 10. We grow sleepy due to signals from our body telling our brain
I want to stop before we go further into this video. I want to say this. There is a correlation that we don't give enough significance to, and that's between the body and what tells the body to go to sleep.
Tired, and signals from the sleepy 8 hours of sleep a night, and adolescents need about 10. We grow sleepy due to signals from our body.
We grow sleepy due to signals from our body. So who is the person who is growing sleepy? The body or the person in the body? And if you focus on that connection, I'm gonna expand you a little taste real quick. If you focus on what I'm saying to you, who is getting sleepy? The person, the body, or the whatever is getting the signal from the body to be sleepy. And if you focus on that, you'll begin to see what the process is. Maybe it can help you.
Telling our brain we are tired, and signals from the environment telling us it's dark outside. The rise in sleep-inducing chemicals like adenosine and melatonin send us into a light doze that grows deeper, making our breathing and heart rate slow down and our muscles relax. This non-REM sleep is when DNA is repaired and our bodies replenish themselves for the day ahead. In the United States, it's estimated that 30% of adults and 66% of adolescents are regularly sleep-deprived. This isn't just a minor inconvenience. Staying awake can cause serious bodily harm. When we lose sleep, learning, memory, mood, and reaction time are affected. Sleeplessness may also cause inflammation, hallucinations, high blood pressure, and it's even been linked to diabetes and obesity. In 2014, a devoted soccer fan died after staying awake for 48 hours to watch the World Cup. While his untimely death was due to a stroke, studies show that chronically sleeping fewer than 6 hours a night increases stroke risk by 4.5 times compared to those getting a consistent 7 to 8 hours of shut-eye. For a handful of people on the planet who carry a rare inherited genetic mutation, sleeplessness is a daily reality. This condition, known as fatal familial insomnia, places the body in a nightmarish state of wakefulness, forbidding it from entering the sanctuary of sleep. Within months of the mutation, sleeplessness is a daily reality.
Y'all, you know what? I want to say this. After hearing that, everybody thinks that everything that they have is normal until you find these extreme cases of people who can't do what you can do normally.
Increases stroke risk by 4.5 times compared to those getting a consistent 7 to 8 hours of shut-eye. For a handful of people on the planet who carry a rare inherited genetic mutation, sleeplessness is a daily reality. This condition, known as fatal familial insomnia, places the body in a nightmarish state of wakefulness, forbidding it from entering the sanctuary of sleep. Within months or years, this progressively worsening condition leads to dementia and death.
Wow.
How can sleep deprivation cause such immense suffering? Scientists think the answer lies with the accumulation of waste products in the brain.
Right.
During our waking hours, our cells are busy using up our day's energy sources, which get broken down into various byproducts, including adenosine. As adenosine builds up, it increases the urge to sleep, also known as sleep pressure.
Right.
In fact,
sleep pressure. Give me that.
including
I be feeling
adenosine. As adenosine builds up, it increases the urge to sleep, also known as sleep pressure. In fact, caffeine works by blocking adenosine's receptor pathways. Other waste products also build up in the brain, and if they're not cleared away, they collectively overload the brain and are thought to lead to the many negative symptoms of sleep deprivation. So what's happening in our brain when we sleep to prevent this? Scientists found something called the glymphatic system, a cleanup mechanism that removes this buildup and is much more active when we're asleep. It works by using cerebrospinal fluid to flush away toxic byproducts that accumulate between cells.
I heard about this
Lymphatic
process.
vessels, which serve as pathways for immune cells, have recently been discovered in the brain, and they may also play a role in clearing out the brain's daily waste products. While scientists continue exploring the restorative mechanisms behind sleep, we can be sure that slipping into slumber is a necessity if we want to maintain our health and our sanity.
So, I want to show y'all something. Hold on. I'm about to lose.
EasyCater is your business tool for food. The best place to order restaurant
I don't
catering
wanna
for
lose
your
this
workplace.
game. Hold on.
Find anything you need in just a few clicks.
There you go.
Order.
What happens when you sleep? There we go. I want to show you what happens when we sleep.
Every night, almost everyone on the planet enters into a state of unconsciousness and paralysis. But what is really happening inside the body when we drift off? And what's the impact if we don't get enough sleep? Sleep is regulated by your circadian rhythm, or body clock, located in the brain. The body clock responds to light cues, ramping up production of the hormone melatonin at night and switching it off when it senses light. There are 4 stages of sleep that the body experiences.
Nope, that's not what we want. How is the body repaired when asleep? There you go.
Bad news for all of us insomniacs out here. But as we do more research into the brain,
Your body, let me just say this before y'all see this.
Initiate this movement.
If you ain't sleeping, your body full of shit.
we're increasingly realizing that sleep is one of the most essential things we need to be functioning, healthy human beings. And new research looks into how sleep helps us maintain clean brains. But what does that mean? And why is that important? Well, to understand this latest news, we have to go back to 2013, when a study of mouse brains found that while those furry little rodents slept, neurotoxic waste products got swept away. Some kind of cleaning crew comes in overnight and gets rid of built-up stuff like beta amyloid, that sticky peptide that can aggregate into plaques and disrupt brain function. Amyloid plaques are highly associated with the occurrence of diseases like Alzheimer's, and the amyloid hypothesis suggests that amyloid plaques could be the primary cause of that devastating disease. So it's real nice that your brain can get rid of it while you sleep. That 2013 study saw an interesting relationship. While the mice slept, their glymphatic systems opened up. This let in a big wash of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, which seemed to clear these waste products away. And just so you know, CSF is a watery, clear. This let in a big wash of cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, which seemed to clear these waste products away. And just so you know, CSF is a watery, clear substance that surrounds your brain and spinal cord and acts kind of like a little cushion to protect your brain and provide it with nutrients. A team at Boston University took this 2013 finding and wanted to know exactly how. In this new study they published in Science, The researchers delved into what about sleep was so special. Why did a sleep state in particular allow for these changes in the brain? The team got human participants to fall asleep inside an fMRI machine, which seems like quite a feat in itself, and which let the team measure both the blood oxygen levels in the participants' brains and show the flux of cerebrospinal fluid. They also measured the electrical currents in subjects' brains using an EEG cap. The results gave the team a pretty clear answer, one that came in waves. We've been finding out more over the past several years about the phases our brains go through while we sleep, and how those phases are essential to information processing and memory formation. And it turns out it's not just during rapid eye movement sleep or REM sleep that our brains are consolidating information and committing it to our long-term memory, but they're doing it during non-REM sleep too. And in humans, these two states of sleep, REM and non-REM, alternate throughout the night. Non-REM sleep is divided into 3 stages, and that third stage is our deepest state of sleep, called slow wave sleep. During slow wave sleep, electrical activity slows down and syncs up. So our neurons start to fire in sync with one another at quite a slow frequency that neuroscientists call delta waves. And while slow wave sleep has been shown to be essential to memory formation, this latest study is the first to demonstrate exactly how those slow waves keep our brains clean and healthy. From all of their many measurements, the Boston team saw that during slow wave sleep, the brain was actually being washed by waves of cerebrospinal fluid, like a little free nighttime spa for your brain. See, when neurons start to fire in sync, they're all electrically active at the same time, and that means there's empty time in between activity. When those neurons aren't firing, they need less oxygen, so less blood is flowing to the brain, but cerebrospinal fluid comes in and fills in that extra space. So when they're electrically active at the same time, and that means there's empty time in between activity. When those neurons aren't firing, they need less oxygen, so less blood is flowing to the brain, but cerebrospinal fluid comes in and fills in that extra space. So this pattern in CSF flow is intrinsically linked to neuron firing. The neurons light up, the neurons go dark, the CSF comes in, the CSF goes out. It's all very relaxing. This study not only found a direct relationship between electrical activity in the brain and this CSF cleansing mechanism, but also confirmed that an increase in CSF is linked to an increased clearing of neurotoxic waste products like beta amyloid. This indicates that sleep, and slow wave sleep in particular, is essential to clearing out all the gunk in your brain garbage, if you will. And the thing is, we still don't understand a whole lot about neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's. We know that we see these buildups of amyloid plaques. We know that a protein called tau causes damage to neurons, but so far, our forays into developing treatments that target those variables haven't been very fruitful. So improved understanding, like this new study provides of how the brain clears out toxic buildup naturally, could help us combat neurodegenerative diseases in novel and innovative ways. Plus, it's just a huge inspiration to get better sleep, and more of it. I'm gonna get right on that. If you wanna learn more about Alzheimer's, check out this video here from our series, Sick, and make sure you subscribe to Seeker for all of your neuroscience updates. If you have another brain question in mind that you want us to cover, let us know down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Come on, you should go to T-Mobile and they'll give you a brand new iPhone 16 on them.
Check.
T-Mobile and get iPhone 16 with Apple Intelligence
so we
on
need to
us
talk.
on our most popular.
So we need to talk, y'all. We need to talk because there's some simple things from today's episode that if you are taken away from this episode, like as in watching the videos, then you should be okay. But from my message directly to you, let me talk to you now. So okay, so apparently my mics are dead. So I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just go to another video.
Do you have a hard time falling asleep?
As a matter of
often?
fact, we up on our hour. So I'm gonna quit this game that I'm in. All right, and let me talk to you. Let me switch over to my chilling scene. All right. So if you feel as if you can last in this world forever, you can't. Now, the correlation that I want to make between what they said and what I'm saying is this. You ever met somebody who don't wash? Like they don't wash. That's you when you don't sleep. When you don't sleep, and I don't mean sleep as in sleep like you just relaxed and you know you dozed off, you blanked out. That's good. That's good. That's good. You don't need all the dreaming. You don't need to be flying. You don't need to be falling off buildings or doing none of that. You just need to be asleep. Like, not here, you gone. But if you're trying to stay in this world all day, every day, you may be taking drugs. And when I say drugs, I don't mean just like illegal drugs. I mean any kind of drug to stay up, whether it be caffeine, whether it be some sort of pill, whatever. If you're doing that to stay in this world, then it's like the person not washing. You're not letting your cells, or specifically your brain, fill with your cerebral spinal. The mics don't want to cooperate, but anyway, if you're not letting your brain fill up with that cerebral spinal fluid, like they said in the video, then you're not getting a full repair of your cells, and you can't think right, you can't act right, your motor skills are off. So leaving this world and going to sleep when you go to sleep is healthy for you. If you didn't think so, stay awake for a while and see how you feel. Bet you I find your ass somewhere asleep. All right, this has been another episode of Expansion Pack. I'm your host, Dan F, man. I'm gonna charge up my microphones. Apparently I haven't been. So, and I'm gonna get at y'all tomorrow. Tomorrow, Tech Tuesday. And we up out of here. Peace. This is DGTA TV. All right, y'all. Peace.
Only one way. There's only one direction in this life that we live, which is about moving upwards. But this world is not just about upwards. So realizing this, really understanding, it's not just about up. It's not just about taking. It's about taking and giving. It's about relaxing and doing. It's about exchange. It's about constant exchange with you, your peers, with people around you, with the world. It's about exchange, because exchange means there is a change. There's constantly happening some transformation. And this is what out there, this is what everything is built upon.
Carrying extra fat is dangerous.
Hold
This
up,
is
hold
how
up,
to get
hold
rid
up.
of
Let
it.
go, let go, let go. Exchange.
This, start eating more of these.
Oh, we done. See, that wasn't deep. That wasn't deep enough.
As long
get some
as you're...
quotes. Let's say some quotes. Wisdom through quotes. Man, strike the chord enough. When you strike the chord enough. All right, let's go. Let's see what they got right here.
The bamboo that bends is stronger than the oak that resists.
I think we seen this one. Hold on. Let me just go to one. Hopefully we ain't seen it. Ah, yeah. We ain't finished this.
Life is like an elevator. On your way up, sometimes you have to stop and let some people off.
Yes, sir.